Hey, Tuesday evening. Welcome along. Great to see you again. I can see you, but sometimes little pictures appear of who's watching on my screen, so it's good to see you as you pop up. Thanks for those who are watching live. Thanks you for those who will tune in. As always, we want to recognise that I sit, Southside meets on land that God created, and that the Yagara and the Turrbal people have cared for. And we pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We pray for reconciliation between ourselves and First Peoples. We pray for reconciliation between them and God. We pray that we will learn how to care for this land as they have cared for this land. And so we pay our respects. Welcome along. For those who haven't watched before, I'm Richard Moores, Children's, Youth and Families Worker for Southside Uniting. Southside Uniting takes in Mount Gravatt, Holland Park, Tarragindi and Yeronga. As always, don't do this all alone. You're welcome to comment, and to help us with your comments, I have my friend. Hello everybody! Yes, Grover is here. And Grover likes to read out your comments. So if you comment, Grover will read them out. I will, very well. And we'll have a chat about them. So feel free to comment, particularly if you have any questions and things like that. But this week I thought, let's talk about what are our plans as far as children's, youth and families goes for 2021. As much as anyone can plan in this day and age, we've all learnt this year that you have plans and you have backup plans, but that's all right. Won't go into too much of that before I send David Fender crazy by talking about COVID. We were at something the other day and we kept hearing about COVID. It's like, woo! Apparently there was COVID. So next year, we're looking at what do we do? And we want to continue to hold strong to those pillars and foundations that Here to Stay has given us. And so the foundations for Here to Stay, for those who are playing at home and been watching since we started, are faith formation in the family and at home, and intergenerational. So those two are going to be critical for us into 2021. We haven't just thought that, but we will do that. Oh, Kylie says drink. Yeah, that's her being cheeky because I mentioned COVID, and every time they said COVID at the thing we're at, we thought we should have a drink. Oh, well, hang on. There we go. Be careful. I feel good. Okay, it's just water, Grover. That's fine. So I want to talk about where we're headed. So we're going to hold on to faith formation in the family and intergenerational. Recognising that some of the changes this year, we've tried to push really strongly along there, and we need to step back a little in some areas. So, going, hey, we'll just have fully intergenerational services and kids will be part of those services and be part of in that, and that's fine. We've realised that hasn't met the desires of families. And so next year we'll be looking at how do we bring in those back, some of that Sunday school type stuff. So we're not going, hey, we've given up on Sunday school. But those of you who've watching, recognising that Sunday school isn't always or hasn't been the best option that we had. We thought this was the best way to pass on faith. Family formation is much better. So what a week will look like as far as particularly our children's ministry goes, but for all working with our young people, children and youth, on Monday morning, parents will receive the family faith sheet that they're getting at the moment. So we've done some rejigging in the last month or so. So instead of sending out a whole heap of options, I now send out a one-page sheet that starts with do your highs, lows and buffaloes. If you're not aware of that, what that is, your high, what's been the high point of the day or the week? So we normally do highs and lows at dinner times each day. So it's what's your high today? What's your low today? What's been the worst bit? Where's the high? Where's the low? Buffaloes we don't normally do, but we might introduce as we go into next year, is just, have you seen anything strange? Anything odd? Anything maybe that was God there? Anything that doesn't fit in your highs and lows that you just want to talk about. So highs, lows, and buffaloes. So that's the start of the sheet. The next thing is then read out the passage. And the things that they will get next year on Monday will be read the passage for the following Sunday. So this year, the stuff has been going out on Sunday and afterwards to carry on the conversation from Sunday. Next year, it will be how do we start to facilitate and prepare our young people for Sunday. So Monday, read the passage for next Sunday. Now, they may not do that Monday. They might do it Tuesday. They might do it Wednesday. That's all right. Read the passage. Then there are 3 questions that always remain the same. They are, I wonder what part of the story you liked the best. So what part of the reading did you like the best? I wonder what part of the reading you think is most important. And those 2 questions are very much godly play questions. You know, lots of the godly play stories, they're the questions you'll ask. What part do you think did you like the best? What part do you think is most important? And allows a whole heap of thinking, and there is no right or wrong answer. So it's not like parents having to sit there going, okay, we've got to get the right answer. You know? What did you think is the best bit? It can be anything. What do you think is most important? It can be anything. You know, we're doing this recently at Jaffa and the story of the Holy Family, so looking at sort of the nativity. You know, so what's the most important? Baby Jesus, but it could be Mary, because Mary carried Jesus. It could be the donkey that carried Mary to the stable. You know, there were lots of different answers, and none of them are wrong. Yes, in a sense, Jesus is the most important, but there are other things that might speak to the child at that time. So, those 2 questions. The third question, which is always there, what questions does it raise? And parents, you don't have to have the answer. So it's not like what questions do you raise so that I can give you the answer. It's just like, what questions are there? And maybe you go, that's a really good question, and this is what I think about it. Or maybe you go, that's a really good question. Let's explore that together this week. Let's do some research and find out what might be the answer to this question. And then there's normally a 4th question that just starts to unpack the reading a bit. And in this case, it will just start to help you to unpack that reading a little bit, because this is the first touching of the reading. So what do you like the best? What do you think most important? Something that unpacks it a bit. Then on the sheet, there's a little challenge for the week. So this week is John the Baptist and talking a bit about signs. So their challenge is to think about how many signs can you name? You know, as you go to school, how many signs do you see along the way? Why do we have signs? Things like that. And then a prayer. So hopefully simple. You know, parents, we don't want you or feel you have to have, you know, a deep theological discussion with your children. You know, Monday, just what's your highs and lows? Here's the reading. What do you think is the best? What's the most interesting? What questions do you have about this? So that will come out on Monday, and hopefully parents will interact that early in the week. Again, getting ready for Sunday. We'll then continue on the midweek video. But again, whereas this year the midweek video has been what has happened, carrying on from Sunday, so let's reflect back on what we looked at Sunday and carry on that conversation. Next year it will be, what are we going to look at on Sunday? So hopefully, parents, you've read that story once. We'll look at the story again and start to unpack a little bit. Not unpack it fully, because that will happen on Sunday, but start to unpack that a little bit and explore. We'll probably scale back a bit on the midweek video, so probably won't have as much singing. Whether we have some of the peace candle stuff with Mr. McGregor or not, don't know. We'll play with next year. Whether we have craft and that, don't know. Whole heap of questions, but we'll explore that. So Monday, out will come the sheet with some reading, with the reading and some questions for parents to interact with. Wednesday, unpack it with the midweek video. Start to think about what does this passage mean. And then on Sunday, 3 Sundays out of 4, and need to talk with this with ministry team and worship team. 3 Sundays out of 4, hopefully, there will be some sort of Sunday school, particularly at Mount Gravatt Tarragindi, hopefully at Holland Park, hopefully at Yeronga. So we will explore what happens with young people. now that we're going back to weekly services. This is giving us a run in to see where a family's settling. Are they coming back? Are they going to the 8:30 services? Are they going to 10:30? I'd prefer a 10:30 service, but that's just me. I'm lazy. I like to sleep in. Not that Oliver lets us. But that's beside the point. So we'll start to have Sunday school. But we don't want to go back fully to that old model of children keep going out. We need to remember, children need to be in learning the things about faith. And so hopefully once a month, children will remain in for the whole service. So they are a part of that whole service. And we need to talk as a ministry team. Worship area that's communion, probably. Will be communion Sunday. But we'll have a chat. As I'm thinking it through in the brain, it's that sense of, if they go out but come back for communion, then you've got a really short time for Sunday school. Particularly because we want hour-long services, so it's probably better to have them. That's the one they're in for the whole hour. We'll work that out in the end of this year, next year. But yeah, so we want to keep having our kids having experiences of what intergenerational services mean. But we also want them to be having those peer experiences of building their peer relationships. We want them to be doing age-appropriate learning, not just online, but with their peers. And so we'll be trying to facilitate Sunday school, hopefully 3 Sundays a month when school is on. And that way they'll dig deeper into the passage. And it means those Sundays when everyone's together, they're not coming in cold and going, okay, well, what's the Bible reading? I've already switched off. But they've already had, hopefully, a conversation with their family. They've already had the video midweek to unpack that passage a bit. They come into Sunday going, I've actually got some understanding about what this story is. Let's go deeper. Let's dive in a bit deeper. So that's our plan for our ministry with our children. And again, it's very much about how are we helping the families to do that faith family formation at home. So it's not about let's do Sunday school and just boom, we're back in with that. But how are we putting these things in place so the stuff's still happening in families, even though we might go back to a Sunday school on Sunday. So that's where that is up to. And that is the plan for next year. So as we do that, we are working as ministry team. We're trying to do that themes or the same reading is across the board. So all congregations will look at the same reading on a Sunday, or at least the same theme. So sometimes, there's been theme type stuff, particularly the stewardship week, where they might go slightly different passages as far as the preacher goes, but it's still on the same theme. So trying to do that across, so what we are doing in the Sunday schools will be, we're doing the same thing at different places. So it's not like Tarragindi will do Mark chapter 4 and Mount you're doing Matthew 7 and stuff like that. So we'll have that consistency across our centres. That makes my life easier because it means you send out one sheet on Monday, one midweek video, and they're all the same. You're not having to go, well, what am I covering for that person? What am I covering for that person? What am I covering for that person? But it also helps. And again, means that if families jump between different congregations or different communities, I said the wrong C word, that, they will see those things and they will, the kids can go, okay, well, yes, we did explore that story last week and we're building on it this week. Excellent. Yes. Kylie says, as a teacher, I love the pre-teaching or exposing. Awesome for achievement. See, I knew it was wonderful teaching, a pedagogy type thing. I just thought it was a good idea. I knew you didn't think it wasn't a clever idea. Yeah, I knew. Thank you. Bye. So that's where our children's ministry stuff is. We probably hoped, and we definitely hoped, as a ministry team, that we might, towards the end of the year, put in a plan for where our preaching and the passages that we would use next year would be. Because of this year and the race at the end of this year, we're not there yet. and that's okay. That's life. We don't always get to the things we want to do. And so, yeah, I will be making sure that we're planning well ahead so our Sunday school teachers can plan ahead, but we definitely don't know what we're doing in term 4 yet. But that will come. As we do that, we will be encouraging our other groups that are working with children and young people to be drawing on those same passages. So how do we get, brigades do devotions each night, encouraging them, okay, here's the plan for the next term. We would love you on those Fridays to be doing the passage that they will look at on Sunday. So how are we helping to do that build? And don't worry, because they'll have done some pre-stuff beforehand. And of course, we can allow our brigades leaders to use our stuff for those that are in other churches or not at church. Well, here's some resources to help you to get ready for Friday. Might make devotions a different thing on Friday. Rod. So we'll be encouraging brigades, be encouraging Unite, be encouraging Jaffa to draw on those themes, those passages, and to be building on those things. At the moment, I don't think we've really thought through what Jaffa is going to look at. We recognise that we have a number of key leaders who are leaving at the end of the year, or maybe leaving at the end of the year, so we'll need to see into next year who comes on board and how we structure Jaffa. But hopefully we can be doing those sort of things. Oh, Richard, yes. Rod says may need some guidance from you. Yes. And as always, I'm here to help and to guide. So yeah, be working alongside, hoping to work alongside better next year. The devotions. Okay. Rod said as to how far we take the devotion. Looking forward to it. Yes, that will be the fun thing of how do we not encroach on Sunday morning, but how do we unpack, and what if those who don't, yes. That'll be a fun balancing act to try and work out. Rod, definitely, how do we work out how deep do we go on Wednesday so we're not stealing stuff from Sunday, but it's not so shallow that you don't bother watching. How deep do you go on Friday? Because some will look at it on Sunday, but others won't. So, and how do we encourage our leaders in doing devotions? And I probably want to try and do that better this year with brigades. I think I've sort of popped in occasionally, and we've done devotions once at seniors, and Rod, you've been nice and invited me a few times with the juniors, and I've just sat in with the anchors. And so, how do I get a bit more involved and either resourcing those devotions or helping to do some of those devotions? So that'll be fun. So trying to unpack it again. And of course, how do we do the same passages in Unite? So that our young people are unpacking that. And that will probably be, because it's Sunday afternoon, the passage that we did Sunday morning. Just because my poor little brain couldn't jump to there. And also, hopefully, as of early next year, we will have some sort of service in the evening, which we're hoping we might connect our young people into, or some of our young people. So that sense of, we'll do some stuff at Unite, which will then hopefully lead into the service. That's going to be a fun balancing act. What do you do at Unite so you don't take away what's happening in the evening, but will be easy the weeks I preach or lead in the evening. Will be more fun the other weeks, but we will get there. So that's sort of our teaching type stuff through. Again, how are we doing this so that the key is around family faith formation, not about how do we pass that formation back to the church, but how do we allow some of that teaching to be done in age-appropriate ways so that people are getting it at the stage that they're at, and that's important. As far as programs go, at the moment we're looking at doing all the same programs. So Jaffa will be back up, brigades will be back up. We'll have fun in the Sundays, so we'll try again 2 days in July, and we'll have one in December. Yes, I've been slack this year and not done December, but I decided we actually all needed a break, and most of the people that would have been doing December are doing Christmas carols or the Living Nativity type stuff. So a break at the end of this year might actually be good for us all. Yes, as hard as it is when you go, hey, the kids would really enjoy a day and things like that, sometimes you have to struggle and look after the lead as well. But yes, definitely trying not to, and we've been trying in all this not to neglect the kids. It was interesting today. Was chatting with someone and they were saying, "Oh, what's happening next year? Will we have Sunday school and stuff? Because been feeling for the young families, they've really missed out." And it's like, well, actually, there's been stuff for the kids and the young families. It just hasn't been Sunday school, and that's been around deliberate choices for not doing Sunday school. So that's where we're headed. We will also continue to do the young families barbecue picnic once a month, just as a chance again for the kids to come together. And again, that gives that wider span of kids. So it's not just kids at Mount Gravatt or kids at Tarragindi, but it's the whole of the kids able to come together. It also gives the parents that chance to come together across our congregation and to see the other parents at the other centres and go, hey, this is cool. And might make easier parents moving between things, going, oh, I can't make it at 8:30 this Sunday to Tarragindi like I normally do. I could go to Holland Park at 10, and I know Brendan and Megan there, and we can chat there and things like that. So just trying to help those blends more. So that will continue. One of the things on the plan is looking at, and I want to this week sending out an email to our families to scope out whether there's excitement for a church families camp. So particularly aiming at the families with kids, but open to wider, I think is our plan. And just look at how do we do something like that allows peak experience for our people. Here's the way we go away. Whenever you go away, you experience God in a different way. You have a peak experience. So how do we allow that? And how do we allow a time that could be a great time for us to enable and equip our families? And how do we do more of this family faithful motion? You're telling us how to do it. We have to do it. How do we do it? Let's go away and spend some time, learning about it, doing it. Let's do some teaching on Saturday about it. Sunday, go and spend some time in your cabin with your kids and do it. Who knows? We will explore what that might look at. But it's in the budget. There's money for it. Woo-hoo. Not a lot, but will help if we need money for it. So we'll look at whether there's energy for parents for that. Again, I'm a big believer in you check out if people are interested in something before you run it. So you don't spend a whole heap of energy and go, oh, well, we've got to cancel that because no one's coming. But you get excited about it and you try and encourage people to get excited about it. So we'll explore that in the next few weeks before I go on holidays. So that's pretty much where we're headed for next year. Want to particularly try and get mentoring up and running next year. So that's definitely one of the goals. How do we start getting our young people into mentoring relationships where they're learning from someone or walking with someone who's further along in the faith? Whether that be some of our 80-year-olds mentoring our 16-year-olds, or whether it's our 16-year-olds mentoring our 7-year-olds or whatever. How do we build some of those connections up? Again, you'll be getting sick of me saying it, but wouldn't it be wonderful if every person in our church had someone further along in the faith who was mentoring them? Doesn't matter if you're 90 or 9, you've got someone who's walking that journey along with you. So definitely be pushing that. It was the hope to do some of that this year, but as we all know, David, get your glass. Things changed this year and we move them all around, but that's all right. We can move ahead. So that's where we're headed in 2021. We'll see what happens in 2021. Everything might blow out of the water again, but I hope that that's where we're headed. We'll be looking for people to join us in leadership in various ways, so love to get some more leaders with our Unite. We'd love to start handing things like Unite over to some others and be there to facilitate. Like, I want to be there. And I don't know what our young people think, but often we do highs and lows at Unite. And definitely last Sunday and a few weeks, it's been like my high is, being here at Unite. And I don't know if the young people think I'm just being nice, but actually that is often my highlight, That's where I get real energy, just hanging out with young people, doing life with them, supporting them, having fun with them. So there, we managed to play the chocolate game on Sunday. Worked out, if you've never played the chocolate game, normally the chocolate game, you roll a dice, and if you get a 6, you've got to put on clothing, then you've got to cut chocolate bar up and eat it. So obviously you go, breaking so many COVID rules. So I worked out, roll the dice, then if you got a 6, you had to run around the room, come back. There was a tub with pre-cut up bits of chocolate, so a chocolate bar that I'd already cut up. Each person had their own spoon, then scoop out the chocolate on the spoon, take the chocolate off the spoon and put it in your mouth. Yay, we can play the chocolate game and keep COVID safe. And I think that's been one of the encouragements and one of the challenges I would give to people. That sometimes people have looked at COVID and gone, oh, too hard, not going to do things. It just opens doors to go, okay, this is how we used to do it. How do we now do it? And we can usually find a way, I can work out how to do this. It just needs to be done in a different way. And sometimes that's all right. The kids had just as much fun. There was just as much noise and just as much yelling as probably they would normally have playing the chocolate game. So that was fun. I think that's now everything where we're headed next year. Again, we're looking at how do we do more intergenerational as we start to do other things in the church. How do we make them more intergenerational? Going to try and get some young people onto our Children's, Youth and Families Ministry Area Committee, get them inputting as we start doing other things. If there's a retreat, how do we make that intergenerational? So we do things like possible garage sales and things like that. How do we make them intergenerational, where young people are working alongside it, where young people are helping to input the planning as that? So again, when we talk about intergenerational, it's not just Sunday morning, but it's all that we do. So we'll aim at that. So thanks for listening. Again, if you've got questions or comments, put them in there. I don't know what I'm talking about next week. So if you've got something that's been dying all year to go, I don't know the answer to this, pop it in the chat or talk to me, SMS me, email me, give me something to talk about next week, or I will just waffle on with absolute rubbish. No, I won't. Something good will come next week. But thank you for joining us again. Hopefully you're excited about next year. I'm excited about next year. At the moment, I'm going through the Here to Stay stuff and the things from Tim Goff's book and working out, where have we done those areas and where do we need to head into next year? What things will we start that will help us to meet those pillars and those biblical framework type stuff. So doing some evaluation at the end of this year, ready for next year. But thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you again next week if I don't see you before. Have a great week and bye everybody.